Okay, let's start. Hello everyone, uh, welcome to our third webinar, and this is our last webinar in this very strange year actually, because it was really a dramatic year for the crypto industry. My name is Head, you already know me. I'm the KuCoin API community manager, and also Merry Christmas on behalf of myself and the KuCoin API team. So just let's wait a little bit for the other users to join us, and after that we will start our webinar. Yeah, let's wait for 2 minutes. I hope the quality of the video and also the sound is good enough, so if someone could give me feedback, that would be great. Okay, very good. It seems everything is fine. Alright, let's start the webinar. I hope the other users join us during the webinar. So again, welcome to our third webinar, and this is going to be the last webinar, but hopefully we will have lots of webinar in the new year that is coming, and I hope the new year would be a better year for the crypto industry, and we don't hear sad and bad news about it. So in this webinar I intended to talk about some basic concepts of the Futures API, and we are going to have some very fast look and fast overview about some basic endpoints of the Futures API. So about the agenda of this webinar, it would be about 40 to 60 minutes. I try to make it more summarized because I don't want to make you tired and also waste the time by talking about unnecessary things, and I try to talk about some basic concepts of the futures, and also try to work with the Python SDK of KuCoin API. And after that I will go into the example of using the SDKs for placing order and implementing some codes in the VS Code environment. After that, after finishing the webinar, there will be about 2 to 5 minutes break, and after that you will have the time and opportunity to ask your questions for 15 minutes. So during the webinar, if you had any specific question, please write in the chat section of the YouTube page, and I will look at them later after the webinar. I am actually watching them during the webinar, so don't worry about missing your questions. I don't miss them, and I will definitely get to them later. Also, there was a questionnaire form in the Learning Center channel, so I guess some people also asked their questions there, so I will also look at them later after the webinar. Okay, so as an introduction, let's introduce ourselves. We are the KuCoin API team, and I guess you already knew some members of the KuCoin API team, such as me and Med and other staff, and we are doing our best to provide you the best services for connecting your apps and your applications through the API to KuCoin exchange. And also my name is Head, the KuCoin API community manager. The person that is answering the questions in the API Telegram group. And yeah, I guess you know me already, and you have enough information about me. So if you want to find me, I'm always in the KuCoin API group Telegram, and this is the place that I'm talking about right now. So in any case that you need to get information and documentation about how to use our API services, there are free specific sources that you can always refer to them. The first one is the GitHub page, of course, and you can always find the most updated examples and SDK information there. Also, there is a part in the GitHub page for expressing your issues during working with our API services. Don't miss that, and because it's a very good place to get notified of the latest changes and also new updates. And the second one is of course the help document. It also has a specific part which is called the upcoming changes. We try to update it regularly, but also we have a notification channel on the Telegram which is more updated and also more instant, so make sure to subscribe to that channel as well. And also our learning center channel, which is a source for getting some knowledge and some basic information about how to work with our API. So let's have a very fast and quick overview about the basic concepts of the futures. There are some differences between futures and spot, and one of the main one is about how we calculate and consider the size in the futures. So for a spot, it's very simple. We have funds and we have the size by considering the funds that we are going to spend and the price of that asset. But for the futures, it's somehow a little more complicated, because the basic concept of the futures size calculation is kind of similar to the forex size calculation. And that in the forex exchanges we have the lot size, so it's also the same and similar in the futures in the crypto. So when you want to calculate your size, for example, if you have 1000 USDT funds and there is a price for the asset, so you will actually divide the funds to the price, and the amount that you are getting is equal to the size that you are going to input into your order parameter, and also multiply by the lot size and the multiplier, which is also another factor that is determining the type of the contract that you are going to trade. And lastly, there is a base size increment as well, but the size factor that you are going to put and enter for the orders that you are going to place via the API is always an integer. So you have to consider and calculate it in a way that it always give you an integer. So because if you don't do that, you will get an error from the system. But because according to the formula that I have put here for you, it's not a big issue, because you can always use the base size increment if you are going to have a float size in overall, and the size factor would be integer at the end. Also, when you are trying to calculate size and also other calculation for your funds and for your size calculation, please always consider the trade fee and the contract fee. For the spot we only have the trade fee, but for the futures, also the contract fee is adding, and because of this factor and this parameter, sometimes users get the wrong size calculation because they don't consider the fee for the contract and the trade, and it's very important. There are some formula for them that you can find in the KuCoin website, so I recommend to refer to them and have a look at them, so you can get a better idea of how the size calculation works in the futures. There are some also formula for the PNL. It's another parameter that you can only find it in the futures section. So I have bring two formulas for the short and the long positions, and you can also find this in the KuCoin website in the futures concept section. Because we also have leverage in the futures, you have to know that when you are calculating your size, it will be multiplied by the leverage. So and also the other factors are impacted by the leverage, is also impact the fee and other aspects. So you have to take into account this main factor as well. There is also the margin balance, so always watch your margin, the margin that you are going to put into your futures orders. It's also important when you want to consider the risk that you are going to put into your balance. So in your risk calculation, always consider the margin that you are going to enter for the futures order to avoid any liquidation and also risking your balance a lot, because this is what is the an issue that users are dealing a lot during the futures calculations. Most of them are complaining about getting liquidated for their orders, and it's because they don't consider the right margin and also the risk limit for their orders. So this is very risky and very important matter to consider for avoiding any liquidation in your futures orders. There's also another factor, which is cost. Cost has its a specific formula that I have brought it here, and for the cost that you can always see it in the website on the left bottom corner side. It has something like it has a formula like this, and please consider calculating your cost before placing your orders as well. So these were some basic concepts that you can find in the futures order. So let's go for the looking into the basic fundamental of the placing orders via the API. So in this webinar, we don't want to make the details very complicated, because I just wanted to have a walkthrough into the basic concepts of the futures API orders. So in this webinar, we just want to place and open a position, and also set a stop loss and take profit orders, and after that try to cancel them and try to get and fetch the order details. So this is the steps that we are going to take during this webinar, but in our next webinar, future webinars, we will look into the more professional and complicated details of the futures order, and we will have more complicated matter to deal for our futures webinar, and make have a more professional ones. So for the placing orders and opening positions in the futures API of KuCoin using the Python SDK, you first need to install the Python SDK. And for that, let me bring the pointer. Okay. Sorry. So for that, you will enter a command like this into the your VS your code editor or VS environment or other code editing environment like PyCharm. And after that, you can by using this command, you will install the KuCoin Futures SDK of the Python KuCoin, and it allows you to use the features that we have provided for you in our Python SDK. Also, you need to transfer your funds from the main futures account to the futures trading account. It's very important, and if you miss that part, you can't place your orders, and also you will get the error of insufficient balance. And the last part is importing the KuCoin Futures client and import the trade module from that. So for placing a long position, as I told you, first you will import the trade module from the KuCoin Futures client and try to do the authentication using this command. It's very simple, and all the command line for using the Python SDK would be the same, so you don't need to be worried for inventing the wheel from the beginning, and all the things are ready and very obvious. And also you can find the example code in our GitHub page as well. So after that, you can get the order ID of your limit order using this command, and by using and running this command, you will open a position. In this case, it would be a long position. So for example, we are opening a long position for the BTC because that's what the supported coin in the sandbox. And after that, let's do the implementation in the environment, VS Code environment. Let's go into the VS Code. So I guess the side would be by here, sorry. Yes, because we want to open the position. And let's try this code. I guess I should have them here. Yes. I'm not worried for my API keys because they are the sandbox API keys. So I have imported the trade module from the KuCoin Futures client, and also I have done the authentication here in this line. So I try to open the position. Imagine we want to open the position at this price for the BTC. Let's try that. I try to open a new actually code here to do the things from the beginning. So I have imported my API keys here, and also I'm going to open a long position for the BTC by the leverage of the one. Just notice the factor and the parameter of the leverage. When we want to input the leverage here, we don't write the full word of the leverage, we just write lever here, as you can see. Also size here would be in small words, and I'm going to input the size 1 because to avoid any complexity here, and I don't want to waste time to do the calculation for the size. So let's try that and see if we could get the order ID here. Oh, first we have to save the file. Let's call it third webinar. Okay, let's see. Okay, great. We have got the order ID here. It's important to save the order ID somewhere or in a variable like the order ID here, because we need it later for the fetching the information of the order, or also doing the cancellation of the order. So let's check the website and the panel. I do a refresh here. Unfortunately, the sandbox is not a good place for trying the orders, but let's look into the open orders. The order that we just tried to place, it hasn't been opened a position yet. Okay, here is the order that we tried to open, but it hasn't been opened yet. So this is exactly the one that we try to place here, a long one. At the price of the 16,500 for the BTC. So now we have tried to open a position. It hasn't been opened yet. It's in the queue for getting open, but at least we have placed the order for getting trigger. Then when we want to also place in a stop loss and take profit, there are some points that we have to consider before placing our stop loss and take profit orders. The first one, which is I guess the most problematic one for the users, is that the take profit and stop loss orders currently are only supported in stop orders format, actually via the API, which means that when you try to place your stop loss and take profit orders, they only be shown in the stop order section, and you don't find them in the take profit and stop loss section on the website. Let's see what I mean here. I mean that when you try to place your stop loss and take profit orders, you will see them and find them here in a stop order section, and you don't find them here because currently this section is not supported via the API. Only this one is supported, and this is one of the most asked questions, asked items that users are asking in the about the futures orders and placing the future orders in the via the API. One of the most asked one, and it's really confusing because they are looking for their stop loss and take profit orders in the take profit and stop loss section, but actually it doesn't happen, and you find them in the stop order section. So you have to always consider that uh, it's not supported currently via the API. Also, you need to define the parameters for having a stop order. These three parameters, the stop and the stop price, stop price type, and also the stop price for your stop price order. If you don't define these three parameters, then probably you have won a new position instead of having a stop order. So it's very important to take into account that you have to define these three parameters before placing your stop orders for the take profit and stop loss. Most users ask me in the API Telegram group that when they're trying to place their take profit and stop loss orders, instead of getting a stop order or take profit and stop loss, they are getting a new position. That's because they haven't defined these three parameters. And lastly, when you want to get your profit or close your position using your stop loss, you have to set the close order parameter to true. It's very important, and make sure that you're not missing that. So for example, I have wrote two example for the take profit and stop loss, and now I'm going to place them in the VS Code environment to see how it would appears on the website. I haven't set the close order to true here because I didn't want to do that. It's unnecessary at the moment. But for your last take profit orders, make sure that you set the close order to true, because you want to close your position in your last take profit order. And it's also correct for the stop loss. Make sure that you set the close order to true for your stop loss, because you want to close your position in your stop loss order. So let's try these orders in the VS Code. Let's start with the take profit. Also, please note that when you are actually placing the take profit order, the final price in the long position would be higher than the stop price, because stop price is the price that the stop order is getting triggered, and after that it would be executed at the price which is higher than the stop price. And it is opposite. This case is opposite in the stop loss. I mean, the stop price would be higher than the price that your stop loss would be executed. So I'm going to try the take profit stop order. So I try to disable my open position order. Let's call it take profit stop order, and we need to get also the order ID. So it would be stop order ID take profit. Yeah, this is it. So let's write this. Great, I'm getting the order ID here, and this order ID would be for our take profit stop order. So let's check it on the website. Let's see. Yes, exactly, it's here. This is the stop order that we have placed, and it would trigger at 17,000 and would be executed at 70,229 for the BTC. The exact numbers that we entered here. This is the final price, and this is the trigger price. So this case is also true about placing the stop loss order. I try to comment the previous order. Stop loss, stop order, and try to get the print stop order ID. Great. Let's also place our stop loss order. Okay, so now we should have two orders here, exactly two orders in the stop order. So as you can see, we don't see them in the take profit and stop loss section. Okay, let's continue. So how to cancel the orders? For canceling the orders, it's also very simple, very easy, using the Python SDK. You just need to enter this command, which is included in the futures client module, and also the order ID that you have got from the orders that you have placed. Or if you want to cancel all the orders, you can only use this one here. Let's try the cancel all the orders now. It's more simple. Let's see how that works. Let's comment these ones to disable them. Cancel all orders. So let's try this one. We should get a number of order IDs for the cancelled orders. Yes, exactly. This is the order ID. These are the order IDs of the cancel orders. So probably yes, all of them should be cancelled. Just this one has been remained. So let's see why it's not a stop. So the reason that we can see that the open orders, the previous open orders are no, it's not working. Let's try it again. There is something wrong here, I guess. I guess this is the issue with the sandbox, as always. So it's not cancelling the open orders for a reason that I don't know. But note that the cancel order endpoint only cancel the non-stop orders. You can see it in the help document that limit order mass cancellation, the endpoints that we just used, only will cancel all the open orders excluding the stop orders, so it doesn't have any effect on the stop orders that you have placed, but it should cancel the other orders that you placed previously. So there should be something wrong here, I guess. It's an issue with the sandbox, I think. So because we are getting the order IDs here, so I think the reason that we don't see the update on the website is just an issue with the sandbox. Also, you can get your order information and fetch them using the order ID that you get from the placing your orders. Let's try that out as well. First, I try to place a new order, a new position. We have already the code here. This time, let's place the order at, for example, 19,000 for the BTC. Oh, there is an error here. Okay, the price protection mechanism is stopping us from placing a higher price here. So we should, for example, input a more reasonable price for the BTC, because BTC price is very lower than this 19,000. So let's, for example, try 70,500 and try again. Okay, it worked. The price mechanism error that we got in the previous attempt is here. You can see the message here: order price cannot be higher than 70,702 for the BTC. But now our order has been placed successfully, so we can copy this order ID and then try to use this code. Let's again disable the previous ones. So this is the code and endpoint for getting the order information. The order ID is here in this part. I just copy it here. Let's see what information do we get. Before that, I clear the terminal to have a much more neat response. Okay, so it's giving us some information about the order that we just placed. You can see that the DL size is 0, of course, and also the DL value, because the order that we just placed, that you can also see it here. This is the order that we placed now. It's not it hasn't been opened yet, and the position is not open, so there is not any volume of that order getting executed yet. So the DL value, DL size is 0, and we have to wait for the order to get triggered and open the position, which is not possible right now because the sandbox is not that fluent at the moment. You can also do the same for getting the position detail when your position has been opened. If you were lucky enough to have an open position in the sandbox, maybe you can get your position details as well here. Also, there is another very good endpoint included in our API services, which is the risk limit factor. It's general information about your contract risk limit. So let's try it for the BTC. Let's see what information does that give us. So for the BTC, it's giving us some information about the max risk limit here, or the mean risk limit, or also the max leverage. And these information are very useful for calculating your risk limit and also modifying your risk limit. For do that, you can always refer to this part in the help document to get more information and also get to know how to adjust your risk limit level. For doing this also, you can have the same endpoint at just risk limit. For this endpoint, you need to include also the symbol and level parameters. So let's find the related. Let's type the risk limit. This one is a little harder to find. Let's see if we could find it. I haven't tried this one yet before. So let's try to find the adjusting risk limit here. That's okay. The endpoint here is position risk limit level. A little tricky. Okay, let's ignore this one. This is the one that we use for getting the risk limit information, and there should be another one for adjusting the risk limit and the change. Let's try it one more time. Risk. I'm a little curious about how to get that. Client dot. Okay, this is the one. Change position risk limit level. We found it finally. So also this endpoint will help us to adjust our risk limit level. So you have to also provide the level that you want to adjust and the symbol. By doing a little search into the library of the functions that we have provided in the Python SDK, you can find all the endpoints that you need. Okay, let's continue. All the things that we did so far during this webinar was using the Python SDK, but you can also make your own wrapper or also use the sample codes that we have provided in our help document for using the Python for placing order or using the other endpoints. So for example, for placing order without using the SDK, you have to import these modules first, and after that you have to define the URL, the full URL of the endpoint, and also determine the request parameters, which are the parameters that you are going to place and put for placing your orders. For example, here the information that I have provided are including the client OID. Let me bring the pointer. The client OID here, the site, and also the symbol, the leverage here. Note that the leverage here is different from the leverage parameter in the Python SDK. In the Python SDK we were using the lever term, but here it's leverage. The size, and after that we try to convert it to the JSON, defining time settings here, and the signature encryption here, and also doing the string to signature conversion, encryption of the passphrase for securing your authentication. It's very important part, because if you don't do that right, the system will give you the KuCoin API error. And also setting your headers. Note that the passphrase here is exactly the same passphrase here that you did encryption, and you have to also include the version of the API keys, API version, and including the content type application JSON file. And make sure that you don't place extra space in your headers. And after that you will use this command, the request module, for printing your order and sending that into the API system. It's the way that you use the Python for writing your own code for placing your orders. But it's a little complicated, and I hardly and strongly recommend to use the Python SDK instead of writing these codes. Okay, thank you very much for your attention, and after the webinar there will be a certificate of the completion. So for getting this certificate of completion, you have to pass the final exam, which would be placed in the Learning Center channel on the 31st of December. And also please note and watch that channel, I mean the Learning Center, to for not missing the final exam. And after passing the final exam successfully and getting the minimum score, we will granted an API training certificate from the KuCoin. And but because we are getting to the New Year holidays, the certificate will be issued 2 weeks later. And also the participant who passed the exam successfully, beside getting the completion certificate, they will also get a VIP level gift. It's a very valuable gift, as you know, so don't miss to pass the final exam and getting the certificate and get the VIP gift. We will try to talk about how to write a Python trading bot using the KuCoin API service in our next webinar. So we will try to make a very simple bot, and also using another useful tool, which is the Hummingbot open source project. It's also another Python based open source project that you can use for making your own bot, trading bot, and it has connection and it is synced and integrated with our KuCoin API service, so you don't have any worriness about connecting that to KuCoin API. It has been also introduced in our Learning Center channel in the past. Also, we will try to look into some simple algo trading strategies and implement some trading bots. So the next webinar would be specifically about how to make the trading bots for using and connecting to the KuCoin API using the Python. Thanks a lot for your attention and staying with me during this webinar for about I guess it's more than 40 minutes, and we will have a short break, and after that I will get back to answer your questions if there is any question. Thank you very much.